Hey, Chad, how are you?
Hey, Dustin. Good to see you.
You too, man. Doing a piece on J.H. Tevis, just what
Sure.
stood out to you about him so far, basically what do you feel like he's brought to that line, and how important has he been just bringing a guy with that kind of experience from a leadership perspective?
Right. Yeah. Very consistent, and that's one of the themes that might come up here as we talk a lot today is consistency. He's a guy that it certainly has come in here, and he's been the same guy every day. He's fun to be around. He brings a great energy to his work, and whether it's singing his little ditties that he is, ask him about that. Yeah, he's all the time singing. He's always got something, but he's just got a good energy about him. And so I think that's one of the fun things to be around him is he's the same guy every day, keeps showing up, got a great mindset for the work, and enjoys the work. He's doing a great job leading the group, leading that room, and really continuing to challenge those guys every day to step up. And, hey, these are our standards. This is how we got to play. And, he'll tell you that he needs to challenge himself on that still, too. But he's really been a real joy to be around from just the mentality, the approach, the work ethic, and he likes working. That's what you want for all these guys, right? They like the process. They enjoy that process of getting better, and he's really been at the forefront of that.
I think we asked you about him a little bit last week, but a guy like Dassan, not wanting to get too far out ahead, he's only played in a couple of college games, but have you ever been around a player that has kind of the potential in terms of just the variety of different strengths he has, his physical ability, his athletic ability, his mental approach to the game, all that?
Very few. Very few. I was around Chris Long when he was a freshman at Virginia. Chris ended up having a very long career, but Chris was also benefited by his father, Howie Long, an NFL Hall of Famer, and obviously Dassan benefited by a father that's a coach. So he's probably a little further ahead of the learning curve on some ways than some other freshmen. But he definitely has a raw skill set that a lot of people don't have. And as we talked last week about Dassan, he's got a great mind for the work, like J.H. Tevis, that it's going to take in that process that he's got to continue to commit to. And he's got a humility about him that knows he does still need to work. But yeah, there's very few that I've been around at that young of an age that you can see those flashes and those glimpses of what they can become, and they can become pretty as special as he wants to be.
I wanted to ask about Aaron Casey. I know you obviously haven't been around him as long as Tom Allen has, but with him, honoring George Taliaferro, having that. What are some of the types of things that he does that, made it feel like a good fit? Yeah.
He's a great kid. We talked before about C4 coming to my house for Easter supper. Aaron Casey was there too. He's just who he is as a young man, as a person. He's fun to coach. But you can see a young man that's really growing and blossoming in his confidence right now. I think the game has slowed down for him a little bit. We have intentionally tried to simplify some things on defense for a lot of guys, not just Aaron Casey. But I think that has benefited him as well. But you're sitting here looking at a guy that hasn't played a whole lot in the system. Been behind Micah McFadden, no fault of Aaron's. But you see just the banked reps and the growth that's happening now for him of years in the system, simplifying the system, allowing him to really just be able to play fast. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job with that right now. As far as the George Taliaferro, I introduced Aaron to my father. My father was down for spring practice, about the time that was announced, and my dad picked up on it. My dad met him for 30 seconds and a minute, whatever. He said, "Man, what a great kid." He's just got something about him, an aura, charisma, personality that you can sense it right away. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but.
Hey, Coach. Western Kentucky has one of the best offenses so far. What has struck out to you about them, and as far as film, have you watched the film yet?
Oh yeah. No, they're you see from what they did last year. I mean, not a lot of people really even slowed them down. They're explosive, they're dynamic. They've got some qualities that our offense actually has the ability to get to as, Walt continues to get our guys going on it. But they can spread the ball around. The quarterback is, he's a young man with some moxie and he's got a little mojo to him. He's a former national champion at the Division II level. That doesn't happen by accident. He's got a strong arm and really can make a lot of the throws, and he's got a competitive toughness to him. And you just watch him in the Hawaii game, and he takes a shot on a targeting call, and man, he pops up, and he's you can see he's a really good player, and he's the real deal, leading their group. But then you look at the wide receiver core. The wide receivers are big, talented, long, athletic guys. Gives him a big catch radius that even when his balls are maybe a little off, right, they've got a catch radius because of their length and their size that they can bring them in. And then, the tailbacks are efficient runners, and, they do a great job checking your box, finding where the weaknesses are. And then, tailbacks are, like I said, efficient. They do exactly what they ask them to do and get the yards that they want them to get. So present a great challenge for us.
Coach, I wanted to ask about the defensive line. You guys have been without James Head the past couple weeks. What have you guys been doing to make up for his production, and can you provide us any update on his status?
Yeah, sure. James is working his tail off to get back and get ready, and we think he's really close with where he is in his preparation. We've moved Miles Jackson. Dassan McCullough coming along has allowed that transition a little bit to be able to take Miles and move him over to the end and play there with Bo Robbins. Listen, at the end of the day, right, we're not just trying to play our best 11. We're trying to play our best 22. We'd love to be able to get to the point where we play about 30 guys a game on defense. And this is going to be one of those games because of Western Kentucky's tempo and our tempo that there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to play. It's really just, and we talked about it this morning in our defensive unit meetings, watching the film, that, hey, you go in the game, you're expected to play like a starter. And we've talked with you guys about that before, about 1As, 1Bs, and 1Cs. And, hey, that is the standard, and that's what we've got to do, and that's the way you're expected to go execute. Whether it's Miles Jackson playing at end, Miles Jackson playing at bowl, which he did both on Saturday. But, we're excited to get James certainly back here and rolling. We really appreciate the work that Miles has put in, the way that Dassan has worked to develop himself, giving us the flexibility, the versatility to play guys at multiple spots. J.H. Tevis is a guy that, you watch the film, he played end, nose, and tackle on Saturday. He played 3 spots on the defensive line. So those guys are really becoming a mix and match group, which is what you want.
Coach Allen talked a few times about kind of the lack of a bit of a lack of focus that he's noticed, kind of, and wanting to get rid of that before they play Western Kentucky again. What have you seen from your defense in the response to that about focus and just kind of fully buying in and getting?
Yeah, it's a matter of consistency. Right, that's really what you're looking for from these guys is consistency. Well, how do you build consistency? As you said, that word focus. We talk about our defense. The DNA is takeaways, tackling, and effort. But the pillars of how we play is edge, hungry, focus. Right? We have an edge about everything we do, right? So, if you lose that edge, you're probably not going to have the consistency that you need, right? Hungry, right? We got to have a hunger, the drive, the work, in the preparation, because how you prepare is usually how you play, right? So staying hungry and then staying focused, right? If we can keep those 3 things, edge, hungry, focus, we're probably going to be the consistent unit we need, and that's a challenge for those guys mentally. Those things are mental as much as they are physical, right? Mental toughness certainly precedes any level of physical toughness, and that's the real challenge for them is that mental edge, that mental hunger, that mental focus to be able to go play the way we need to for 4 consistent quarters. And I think that's, walking out of the game on Saturday, we saw glimpses, as we talked even last week, about what type of defense we can become. It's the consistency, edge, hungry, and focus.
Coach, I guess just going back to Aaron, you said that he's fun to coach. What makes him fun to coach?
Yeah, he's a sponge, right? Every time you see something, every time you say something, oh yeah, that makes sense. I get that, right? Or right, you hit him on something. Oh yeah, I can do that better. He responds to coaching, right? He's coachable. And very simple thing. He looks you in the eyes, right? You coach Aaron Casey, he looks you in the eyes. Yeah, he's not just off, you're trying to talk to him. He's engaged with you. And when you coach him on those things, he's usually right on it the next time. Again, there's a reason we call it practice. We're glad we don't play games on Tuesdays. But he keeps working at it through the week. He keeps preparing. He keeps attacking it. And by Saturday, right, you've coached him up. He's learning. He's responding. He's growing. He's gaining confidence all through the week. Boom, Saturday, he goes and makes the play. So, yeah, that's fun to coach kids that are coachable. Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.